I was working the night shift at a small convenience store just off the highway. It was the kind of place people only stopped at when they had no other choice. Truck drivers, insomniacs, people trying to stay awake a little longer. By the time it reached 2:14 a.m., the store was completely quiet. No cars outside, no footsteps, no movement. At that hour, nothing ever happened. That was why the sound of the doorbell made my chest tighten. I looked up immediately, expecting to see someone standing there. But the entrance was empty. The glass door was closed. The parking lot outside was dark and still. For a moment, I thought the bell must have malfunctioned. It happened sometimes when the air pressure changed. I went back to the register, trying to ignore the uneasy feeling that had settled in my stomach. Then I heard it. Footsteps. They were coming from inside the store. Slow. Careful. Too deliberate to be random noise. I stayed where I was, listening. The steps moved down the aisle behind me, stopping near the shelves where the lights were dimmer. I cleared my throat and spoke, keeping my voice steady. "Can I help you?" No response. The footsteps didn't move, but I could feel that someone was there, standing just out of sight. I turned slightly, enough to see the reflection in the glass of the freezer doors. There was nothing behind me. No shape, no shadow, no movement. The footsteps started again. They moved closer, stopping directly in front of the counter. I could hear the faint sound of breathing, slow and controlled, like whoever it was didn't want to be noticed. My hands were cold now. I asked again, more firmly this time. "Sir, if you need something, you'll have to come to the counter." Silence. The breathing stopped. I glanced at the security monitor beside the register. The store was covered by 4 cameras. Every aisle, every corner, the entrance, the counter. All of them showed the same thing, an empty store. I leaned closer to the screen, checking each camera carefully. There was no one inside. No customer. No movement. No distortion. Just me, standing alone at the counter. Behind me, I heard the sound of something being placed gently on the counter surface. I froze. Slowly, I turned around. There was nothing there. The counter was clear. But the feeling that someone was standing across from me hadn't gone away. I looked back at the monitor. One of the cameras flickered for a moment, just a brief distortion. When the image stabilized, something was different. There was a dark shape standing in front of the counter. It didn't have a clear outline. No face. No features. Just the suggestion of a person, slightly darker than the air around it. The camera feed began to crackle softly. I watched as the shape leaned forward, as if it were looking directly at me through the screen. I didn't move. I didn't speak. I couldn't. The shape raised what might have been a hand and pointed toward the entrance. At the same time, I felt a presence behind me again. Close. Too close. The doorbell rang. I spun around. The front door was open now, swaying slightly. Cold air drifted into the store. The parking lot lights flickered once, then steadied. When I looked back at the security monitor, the screen was normal again. Empty aisles. Empty counter. No dark shape. No distortion. I stood there for a long time, listening to my own breathing, waiting for something else to happen. Nothing did. At 3 a.m., my shift ended. I locked the door, turned off the lights, and left without looking back. The next night, I asked my manager if there had been any problems with the cameras. He frowned and shook his head. "They've never worked right between 2 and 3, he said. "That's why we don't check them much." I asked him why. He looked at me for a moment before answering. "Because the system keeps detecting customers who aren't there."